Now, despite all the myths that you may have heard, you don't have to do thousands of reps to get great abs. In fact, all three of the exercises that we're going to do today only require about 15 repetitions per set, and the whole workout is only going to take you about 10 minutes to finish. Now, you only need to do this routine twice a week to get maximum benefits. Now, the muscle we call your abs or six-pack is actually made up of a muscle group called the rectus abdominis, which are paired muscles that connect vertically. And the three horizontal sections that you see that make up the six-pack are created by bands of connective tissue. Now, although you can't isolate the upper from the lower since they're only one muscle group, our first exercise works to specifically target your lower abs. Now, this exercise is something that you can do at home with no equipment. And what we're going to do is a reverse crunch, but not the way you see most people do them, and that's because most people do them incorrectly. So let's first talk about what not to do in this exercise. The first way here, I'm using all hip flexors, and as you can see, my back is completely flat, which is an indicator that you're getting very little abdominal contraction. You need to get a nice curvature in the lower spine. Now, in the second example, you can see that we're getting good curvature, but we're using the momentum of the legs to swing up and then using gravity and the weight of your legs to pull over. Now, this too is incorrect. So to do this exercise correctly, we're going to eliminate the first part of that motion where it was all hip flexors. So starting with the thighs perpendicular to the floor and a 90-degree bend in the legs, to get maximum contraction, we're going to bring our head up off the floor. Make sure not to pull on the back of your head or neck. And from here, we're going to slowly, in a controlled movement, lift our pelvis off the floor in a reverse crunch motion. Now focus on bringing your knees closer to your head versus up towards the ceiling. Now slowly lower back to the starting position and then repeat. Now notice that the angle at my knee never changes and my legs never go past this vertical position. All of the motion is in tilting my pelvis and getting that curvature in the spine. We're now going to do this for 15 reps. Keep it controlled and strict. And remember to really squeeze at the top because this is the most important part. Training isn't just about mechanics, it's about learning to feel the muscle. So now we're going to repeat this exercise for 3 total sets, but not back to back. We'll do 1 set and then move on to the next exercise, which to the best of my knowledge doesn't even really have a name. I just call it a plank tuck. Now this is an exercise that I just made up in my head one day, and I'm not saying that I'm the first to do it, as I'm sure there have been other people that came to the exact same conclusion that I did, which is that the plank may be an effective core stability exercise, but it's not a good abdominal isolation exercise, considering that there's no curvature in the low spine or tilt in the pelvis, meaning you're not fully contracting the muscle. So here's what I do to correct that. I take a small towel and I put it down on a smooth floor. I put my feet on the towel in a push-up position. And starting with my back straight and my abs tight, I tuck my pelvis and pull my feet up by contracting my abs. So I'm going to slide them forward. Now squeeze your abs at this point and then slide your feet back out to the starting position before repeating. Now as you can see here, we get a nice curvature of the low spine, bringing the lower part of our ribs closer to our pelvis, which are the 2 insertion points of our rectus abdominis. This means we're getting a nice full contraction. Now we're going to do this for 15 reps, and we'll do it for 3 total sets, but not back to back, because from here we're going to jump into our next exercise. Now this next exercise is a crunch, but not done with the standard bad form that I see in most gyms. As I've already described, you need to get that curvature in the spine in order to get a full contraction in the abs. If I do a crunch like most people with my head going straight up toward the ceiling, you can see that my back remains relatively flat. Now this isn't going to cut it. To correct this, remember we need to get a fuller range of motion by bringing our head towards our knees, not the ceiling. Now when we do this, you can see that we get that curvature that we're looking for. So make sure to start the movement slowly, not using momentum and not pulling on your neck or your head. Squeeze at the top before slowly lowering back down. And make sure to go as high as you can, just before your low back comes off the ground. If it comes off the ground, then you're doing an old-fashioned sit-up, which is an effective exercise if it weren't for the stress that it places on your low back. So we're going to do this exercise for 15 reps. So now at this point, you should have done 15 reps of reverse crunches with no rest, going straight into our plank tuck for 15 reps, and then with no rest, go into our crunches for another 15 reps. So we're gonna rest for about 1 minute and then repeat the whole sequence for one giant tricep. So once you finish your second round, you're gonna do it one more time for a total of 3 rounds. Now you can do this workout anywhere and should be able to do the whole routine in under 10 minutes. Now if you do it twice per week, you're gonna be well on your way to developing those 6-pack abs that you're looking for.